May the words of my mouth and the meditations of all of our hearts be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, my rock and my redeemer. Amen. Please be seated. Where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I will stay. Your people shall be my people, and your God shall be my God. This famous statement of chosen family and community from the book of Ruth is perfect for Baptism Sunday. These words have been remembered over the millennia as Ruth's song. And see, that's how Randy remembered it from church music. But it's just as much the story of Naomi, Ruth's mother-in-law, and a line of our mothers in the faith from the time of Abraham, as we read it in Jesus' genealogy in chapter 1 of Matthew. Tamar, Rahab, Ruth, Bathsheba, all the way to Mary, the mother of Jesus. And we'll dig into all of that in a minute. It's a gripping story sweeping over generations and centuries. And it's fair of you to ask how it is we come to encounter it on All Saints' Day, Baptism Sunday. Because it's almost just too marvelous, too wonderfully applicable and appropriate to the holy work before us today to even believe that it's a gift from our assigned readings. All Saints' Day is one of the 7 principal feasts of the church year and one of the 4 days recommended for baptisms, when we welcome new members among us, say out loud our priorities in our community, what's important to us, how we treat each other, how we work with each other in the world around us. And in the Episcopal Church, we can choose to celebrate these principal feasts either on the day they occur. For us, All Saints' Day would have been Friday, or on the Sunday after that date, as we're doing today. And many churches in the Anglican Communion choose to celebrate All Saints' Day on November 1, whenever that occurs, using the lectionary readings for Proper 26 that we're using today. Why does this matter to us today? I'm so glad you asked. Because the Old Testament reading for Proper 26 is from the book of Ruth. And I can't think of a better text for baptism. So we're going to walk on the Episcopal wild side today and refer to Ruth's faith journey and the great commandments from the readings assigned for today while we celebrate All Saints' Day with a baptism with a flourish of the New Jerusalem from the Revelation reading for All Saints' Day. It's a choose-your-own-adventure kind of morning. So here's the tale. Naomi, Ruth's mother-in-law, is not mentioned in Matthew's gospel by name, but she returned to Bethlehem from Moab with her Moabite daughter-in-law, Ruth, in tow. The chosen family bond stronger than the ties of blood, nation, ethnicity, geography, language, culture. And we can see how this happens in any formed community. Look around you today. We've all gathered from all different places, some of us really quite distant and different from each other. Some of us are family by birth, parents, siblings, offspring. Others of us are family by marriage, spouses, in-laws like Naomi and me, and step-siblings. Still others are family by choice, our very closest and dearest friends, bound together by shared experience and years of love and commitment and promises. And just to connect all the dots and fast forward to Naomi and Ruth's story, from the reading today, let's go back to Naomi's difficult journey from Moab to Bethlehem. So Naomi has returned to her hometown after spending her entire adult life in Moab, building a life there, raising young sons to adulthood, seeing them married, one to Orpah and one to Ruth. As an interesting aside, you know, Orpah is the source of Oprah Winfrey's name, and people mispronounced it so frequently she finally adopted the Oprah, but she is an Orpah. for this biblical figure. When Ruth's sons die after about 10 years of their marriage, widowed Naomi convinces Orpah to stay back behind in Moab with her mother's family. But Ruth's having none of it. Nope, I'm sticking with you, she says. After the arduous journey through the Jordan Valley, and think about that, that is around the Dead Sea, right? Because Moab is on one side of the Dead Sea and the widest part of it, and Bethlehem is on the other. And the Dead Sea was a whole lot wider and bigger then than it is now. After that journey, Naomi and Ruth are in Bethlehem. They are starving widows, not linked or allied with any family, any community, any social group in Bethlehem, with no fully filled out household with plenty of hands for productively herding or farming and raising their family, or not raising their family, supporting themselves. But Naomi has this cousin, Boaz, descended from a royal line. And it's super interesting to note, we'll have to talk about this another time, Boaz's mother is Rahab, who had that strong role. People sing Joshua fit the Battle of Jericho. I really think we should be singing Rahab fit the Battle of Jericho, because she was behind the whole thing. Honestly, we should spend whole Sundays talking about each one of these visionary women. Boaz has a prosperous farming and threshing operation. Naomi is too old to work productively in the act of harvesting, but she arranges for Ruth to be allowed to glean the fields, that is, to take what's left after the harvest. With Naomi's coaching and advice, Ruth is able to parlay this casual arrangement to get Ruth and Naomi just enough to eat into a marriage that begets Obed, that begets King David, who with Uriah the Hittite's wife, Bathsheba, begets King Solomon, continuing in this great line of begetting all the way down to Mary, mother of Jesus, an unmarried teenager, not even from a priestly family, who with her choice and her promises and her commitment says yes to God and brings Jesus into the world. Is our lineage of faith in Matthew's genealogy a history text or a science text? Absolutely not, no. But it is a story that carries the deep truth that chosen family is not less than family by blood, but instead is the origin of all family. It's the choices and the covenants and the promises, like Ruth's commitment and promise to follow and care for her mother-in-law, Naomi, wherever she goes, that all family by blood comes from. So the point of this lineage and its titillating, fascinating, and even salacious twists and turns, that's for another day, is that we're meant to love and care for one another, to build strong communities that we support and that support us, no matter where we come from and no matter how different we are. Now, this brings us to the baptism. When we baptize in the church, we welcome someone new into our community, promising to care for them among us. It's a classic covenant of chosen family. Like Naomi, the Ephrathite from Bethlehem in Judea, and her Moabite daughter-in-law, Ruth. Even those of us whose faith traditions don't include baptism can find resonance in these promises and belonging and connection in this community. Listen to what our community says together as we renew our baptismal covenants in a few minutes and welcome Whitley into the community. We say we'll do our best to hold together as a community, to remember what's important, to keep up our relationships, to say sorry when we're wrong and try harder next time, and to always hope the best for each other and for the world. We promise we'll share our fellowship and community with others, bringing out the best in each other, love our neighbors as ourselves, strive for justice and peace among all people, and respect the dignity of every human being. See, this is how Jesus answers the scribe, the learned Jewish scribe, who asks him which of the commandments is the most important. Jesus, the rabbi, responds with the great Shema. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, all your strength, and you should love your neighbor as yourself. So these were not new ideas proposed by Jesus on the spot to answer the scribe's question. These were part of Jesus' lineage, formed and knit by God into his bones and into his heritage. From Abraham and Sarah, salted and seasoned by Tamar, Ruth, Bathsheba, Mary, mother of Jesus, all the way down to the chosen family along the way. And that's our community. That's how we build the New Jerusalem. I saw the holy city, the New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God. See, the home of God is among mortals. He will dwell with them as their God. They will be his peoples, and God himself will be among them. Amen.